Today, we're going to talk about time. Just not having enough time is a big problem for people. Hey, time is the one thing we all have the same amount of in the day. It's 24 hours, whether you like it or not. So, why is it that some people can crush it and other people suck at it? So, let's talk today about time and what you can do to get a better handle on taking better care of yourself and making time for yourself. Well, when you wake up in the morning, I hear all my clients tell me, at least 75% of them, I'm too busy in the morning. I don't have time. I can't eat breakfast. Or I can't eat something healthy because I have to prepare. So I just grab something convenient or I have a snack. Or I am so busy in the morning that I cave and eat something unhealthy. Or I don't have enough time to prepare a lunch, so I just eat what everybody else is in the office. I don't have time to go to the gym because I said yes to my boss like for the umpteenth time and I got to stay late. It's too hard to learn how to take care of everybody in the family. Everybody's got so many specific needs. They're so picky with what they eat. I didn't plan ahead, so it's really hard to eat healthy. I mean, I can go on and on and on, right? So guess what? We're not going to solve any of those things today. No, we're not. You know why? It's too overwhelming. It's too much. So what's the solution? It's to break it down into its tiniest, simplest step and just start at the first thing. What's the most important thing? In self-care, I'm going to tell you there are a lot of different things. But for right now, if we think about it, let's start with a basic human need of water. Can you hydrate yourself? Just focus on getting enough water every day. Wow, well, that's not everything else we just talked about. That's pretty easy, isn't it? What else could you do this month, the whole month? Let's not focus on eating, preparing healthy meals and different cooking techniques and figuring out how to eat at work versus at home on the weekend. Shopping, let's not change your shopping. Let's just focus on no meal planning for this week or this month. Let's just focus on basic needs. And what would those be? No extensive grocery shopping. You can eat out if you want. All I want you to do is start focusing on drinking enough water. Why? Because people don't make the time to drink enough water. And when you're not hydrated, a lot of times you think you're hungry when you're really thirsty. If we can start there and give you a little bit of hope, going, oh wow, you know what? I thought I was hungry, but you know what? I was really thirsty. And drinking that little bit of water, it made me feel like I have more energy. Wow, I'm not the least bit hungry. I can probably go for another hour before I eat. A lot of things can happen when you start taking better care of yourself. What about eating when you're actually hungry? Can we focus on that instead of saying, I've got to do all these crazy preparations, or I have to do all this planning and I have to go shopping no. Let's start with small, simple things. So, drinking water is one thing. Maybe making sure you have a cup of tea or lemon in your water. What about filling half your plate at lunch or dinner or both with vegetables? That's it. Just fill half the plate. I don't care what kind of vegetable, just fill half the plate with vegetables. And when you're choosing a snack, why don't we choose something that's what I call high quality calories? Now, I said I was going to be talking about time. We're not talking about time at all, are we? Why? Because what happens is our mind sabotages us when we think that we don't have the time. We give ourselves permission to just say, we're off. I'm on, I'm off, I'm on and off. What if we focused on being intentional? That no matter what, no matter In any situation that you're in, you are flexible and resilient enough to say, you know what, I'm going to make sure I drink my water. I'm going to make sure I'm going to fill half my plate with vegetables at lunch and at dinner. Now, if you did that for a whole month, how do you think you'd feel? What do you think might happen to your waistline? What do you think might happen to your energy level? All of those things only happen when you change your paradigm. You get out of the neural circuit loop that you're in, okay? We are stuck in loops, these behavioral loops, because it's the path of least resistance. It's kind of like the watercourse way, if you've ever heard of it. Water in a stream will follow along and follow the path of least resistance. Well, it doesn't actually, it's not a bad idea to follow the path of least resistance, but if we work with that versus against it by trying to push the water where it won't go, water's not going to go up a hill. It's going to follow downhill. So let's work with it instead of against it. Okay? So let's take and make life simpler and easier. So I want you to think about focusing on water. How much? How about we drink an ounce every, I don't know, let's say every 30 minutes. Or shoot for 64 ounces of water a day. Can you do that? Some of you might need more, some of you might need less, but let's shoot for at least this much water a day. You can drink more, super. Yeah, you're going to be going to the bathroom more, but that's something you're going to have to make time for. Just like making time to fill half your plate with vegetables. But how hard is that? At lunch, you get a salad. At dinner, you might have a soup, or you might make 2 vegetables instead of just opening up a box of something starchy. It's about being intentional. And remember, we all have the same amount of time every day. Each one of us does, but tomorrow's not guaranteed. So what I'd like you to do is to slow time down by first being aware of how much time you're wasting. Do a time log. I'm going to go through mine right now. In the morning, I spend 1 hour intentionally exercising. 1 hour. Now, it depends on what I want to do. Sometimes it's running, sometimes it's weight, sometimes it's yoga. I'll mix it up, but I always commit to that 1 hour. Then I'll spend, let's say, another half an hour getting ready for work. But then I will not have to commute. You might have to commute, so we have to add that in, that 1 or 2 hours there. Then work, 8 hours. So now what are we up to? 10 hours. We come home. We spend an hour or 2 watching TV. We spend about 8 hours sleeping. That's 20 hours. We still got 4 hours left over. So somewhere along the lines, somewhere along that day, we're wasting 4 hours. We're spending it because we're not being intentional. So part of this is that I don't have time for exercise. I make time. And the only time that I found, was early in the morning, because I'd have nothing else to do at 5 o'clock in the morning. You say, I'm not going to get up at 5. Well, you find whatever time works best for you. And understand that intentionality is about putting a focus on what's most important to you. That is probably the most powerful tool that you can use. And one of the best ways to do that is to focus on nothing but your breath, which clears your mind. So do me a favor right now and take a deep breath in and exhale out through the nose. One more. Follow that breath in and follow that breath out. By putting your attention on your breath, it gives you an amazing ability to clear your mind. I want you to do me a favor. Your homework for tonight is to put down the log of what you spend your time doing. Let's find out where you're spending your time so that we can find time for you, for self-care, for taking better care of yourself, and for letting you live the life you've always dreamed of through healthy thinking, eating, and living. One choice at a time. I'll see you in the next session.